Yo, what's the dealio, man? Listen, you already know what time it is. I got a banger for you, all right? And so this is week three, right? Week three of the 52 week challenge, man. So this was a good week, and I'm gonna break it all down for you guys, all right? So everybody that's been following, man, shout out, salute. Um, it was a good week, right? I took one trade in this account right here, and we hit on it. Got some good things that happened, and then some other things that I wish would have happened a little bit differently, and we gonna unpack it all. All right. So what I will say is, if you're watching this, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is a small account 52 week challenge. I took $500 and I'm documenting the whole journey. All right, from here all the way up into 52 weeks. Now, here's the thing. In this challenge, I'm not taking any day trades in this account, right? No day trades, only swing trading. That's all I'm doing is swing trading, right? I am not entering into a trade and exiting that same day. I have to be up crazy, or it has to be like a crazy setup for me to exit within that same day, right? The whole point of this challenge is to do it passively. So, how much can I grow this account very passively from a little bit to a lot over the next 52 weeks, right? That's I'm making all my money in my day trading account and stuff like that, right? But when we're talking about just taking $500 and what can we do with $500 over the next 52 weeks, that is what this challenge is for. All right, so I just want to put that right there. So last week was week two. We took an L last week, right? We lost $80 last week. We had two wins and we had two losses. Okay. So this week, what I wanted to focus on was just one solid play, right? Just to recalibrate things. Because when you have a smaller account, you can't be as loose, right? When you have more money, it's easier to let certain things slip through the cracks. But when you have a smaller account, everything got to be super tight. And sometimes when you have a smaller account, you may need to slow down, right, before you could speed up and go higher. And so, because last week I got into a couple trades a little bit early, and a couple of them I should have got, the next week's expiration out and stuff like that. So this week I just wanted to take a relaxed approach. We had data this week. It was an amazing week in the stock market on day trades and stuff like that, right? So with the small account, I'm going to go over the one trade that I took that we made money on. Okay. I'm going to break it all down, and I'm going to let you guys know the trade that I got into today, and I'm going to show you the charts and let you know what I'm seeing on that one. Okay. So we're going to go right here. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. All right. So as we can see, right. So right here, we got last week, like I showed you, I told you I made a spreadsheet for this. So last week we lost $80. The account, it ended at $388 right here. All right, every week I make a spreadsheet for all of my trades. So I'm documenting this. And so we started with 388 this week, right? So I took open. I entered in at around 670, and that was last Monday on September 8th, right? And then what happened was I got out and the stock price was like 780, right? And then the contract price was $98, right? $98. And what I sold it was at 145. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that as well. So we took a win on it. That trade, let me do the math real quick. My percentage gain on that one was 47 divided by 98. 47%. Okay, so that was a 47% trade. It could have been way more, but we're gonna go through all of that. Okay, so we ended the week at 435. Like I said, we started at 500, and now we're about to be back at 500 this week coming up, and then moving forward, we're gonna be growing this account. Okay, so that is the spreadsheet right there, right? And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the charts and we're gonna break it down. But let me break this down real quick first, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys this right here. So I entered into an open call, right? So right here, this was the contract that I got. Last week, I entered into an MRVL call, and I got the Friday's expiration, which was the next day. I entered in on Thursday. I got out on Friday. I really should have got the next week's expiration date, right? Especially with this small account. The stock dropped, and then my contract just lost so much of the value that I sold, and I took a big L, right? In relevance to this account size. So this week I said, okay, I'm gonna get at least the next Friday on the swing trade that I get, right? At least the next Friday. And so I did that, and I got open calls at 919, right? They've been having a lot of things happening, a lot of good things, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go to the charts and show you, but I want to break this down, right? So I got in, I just got one contract at 98. I was going to get two contracts, but I was like, I'm going to take the slow approach, right? I'm not going to be overly greedy and try to get my money back, right? This whole documentary, this next 52 weeks is going to be so many lessons that you're going to be able to extract, right? Because what most people do is they'll say, okay, I took an L, let me double up on my position size, even though my account got smaller. And even so, if I do lose, I'm going to lose more, right? But if I win, I'm going to lose more as well. But when you don't have a lot of money to work with, sometimes you got to go slow in the beginning so that you can build everything up. Okay? So I entered in on Monday. I paid $98 for these contracts, right? Expiration date was the 19th. That gave me 2 weeks. All right? Now, it was on Wednesday. This is where my contract was at. $39 it was only worth when I bought it for 98. I was down 60% on this trade. Right? 60% on this trade. And I was like, I wasn't really stressing though, because I had it for the next week, and I believe. And also I didn't want to add another contract at this point to bring my costs down. I did not want to do that right now. I don't want to add to any contracts yet. So whenever I get in a position, I'm committing to that position. No adding or anything like that, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. We down 60%. We're down 60% on Wednesday, okay? Now watch this. Then this happens. After market on Wednesday, they're up 252 and they're at 840. I'm like, there we go. I'm about to cash out tomorrow. Okay? Boom. I was like, perfect. Right? This was perfect. Thursday I cash out. I'm gonna be up 1,000%. That's what I was thinking about, because it was up 40%, right? So then the market opens, and then the stock starts selling off. I'm like, damn, it's selling off, right? And I'm like I said, we're gonna go to the charts, but I'm trying to paint this picture for you so you guys understand what happened. So it starts selling off a little bit. I'm like, all right, whatever. I opened up and I tried to get out of my trade, right? It was showing me the contracts was worth 250. That means that would have been like another like 100%. So I would have been able to make $250 total off this contract when I only put in 98, which would have been $150 in profit, right? I ended up getting filled, right? I ended up getting filled at 145.95, right? So I bought in at $98. It was all the way down to $39. And then I was able to sell at 145. Okay? So this was the whole trade. This was the whole trade right here. When it started selling off, because open is such a volatile stock, I was like, this is one of them times where it's going to gap up and then it's going to go down, right? Like immediately and go fill that gap. Okay? So now we're going to go to the charts and I'm going to break down exactly what happened. All right? So let me pull this up real quick. All right. All right. So let's go to open. Boom. Okay, open. So let's go to Monday. So look at the charts. Look what happened. This is Monday, right? This is on Monday. So I see the stock on Monday. I got in. It was around. It was like 660, right? Right here. A little less than 670, but when I entered in, this is a 30-minute. Oh no, it was right here. I remember because I saw a failed two down, and I was like, oh, okay, it's about to go up because I saw that 3 bar right there. I saw a failed 2 down, and I was like, okay, it's about to go up. So I took entry on it, right? I took entry on it right around here, okay? And then what happened? Boom, right? Came down. I was like, damn. Because sometimes it seems like every time you get in a trade, it goes the opposite way, right? So I could have sold out right here, but I was like, nah, I got 2 weeks on this contract, so let me give it some time, right? Next day, it just consolidates. It does nothing, right? Nothing at all. And then look what happened. The next day, it came down again. And this is when I was down that 60%. So it was all the way at 577, right? This was on Wednesday. I was still letting it cook, just letting it do it. I was trusting the process. And then look what happened. Boom, right? Gapped up. And it was up here. In pre-market, it started coming down. And when I saw it coming down in pre-market, and then I saw this candle coming down, because this right here, this was a red 3 bar. This is a bearish 3 bar right here. When I saw that, I was like, oh no, it's about to come down and fill this gap, right? On the 30-minute too, I was like, nah, this is about to come down. And I would rather have some profit to show rather than, you know what I'm saying, trying to be greedy and then not make any money and be in the same spot, right? So when I saw that 3 bar on the 30-minute, I was like, yeah, I can't do it. I got out. And look what it did the rest of the day. It went all the way up to 1044, right? So if I would have been able to hold even up to here at 969, these contracts went up like 700, 800%, which means that $98 would have been like $600. So my account would have been 1,000 plus and 500 in profit from when the time I did it off of this one trade, right? But because it was looking like it was selling off at first, it was going down. I was like, nah, I'm going to get out. Because when I saw that 3 bar on the 30, I was like, no. And that's just what it was, right? And so I took the profits, and as you can see, it went crazy. Okay, so we made money on it. We could have made more, but I always talk about this. This rule or this understanding of you have to understand how to be content in life, right? You always could have made more money in the trade. That's perfectly fine, right? I was content with the profit that I took because I was just down 60%, right? And I know and understand that this is going to get better and better anyway. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to count my green as a plus, and I'm going to keep moving and adding on those small wins, right? So that's the trade that we took this week, okay? Now the next thing is I entered into a trade today, right? Which was yesterday. You watching this video on Saturday. I entered into a trade for this small account challenge yesterday, which was Friday, okay? So the trade that I entered into was right here, okay? Lyft. I got some $19 calls. The expiration date is on October 24th, right? And the contract was $113. I got a $113 contract, one, for Lyft calls with October 24th as the expiration date. Okay? So that's the trade that I just entered in yesterday. And if we can get a nice push this week up to $20, I will exit that at whatever my profit is. Okay? So let's go to the Lyft chart real quick. And let me show you guys what I see and what I'm looking at on Lyft. All right? So, all right. So here's Lyft, right? So this is on, that's the 30. Let's go to the daily real quick. So on a daily time frame, we have a failed 2 down candle right here, right? So we're getting this on a pullback, right? So Lyft closed up here at 1896. And then it was it had touched 1936, right? It came down right here at 1834. It opened here and then it closed right here, right? But it came down and tried to, but it failed to go lower, bounced right here, and it came up right here and it touched 1882. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame, right? So it was down here and then it pushed up, right? Held this support level and pushed up. Then it came down and then it came right back here, right? So I got in this trade at 1860, right? I took entry about right here, okay? No, it was actually right here, but it was the same price. But it was after this 3 bar. When I saw this 3 bar close, I waited a little bit and I got in right here at 1860. Okay. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, right, we have this level right here at 1907. And look, once we get above 1907, we already tested it, right? Once we get above 1907, we got 1953, and then we got $20. Okay? And then we have even, higher levels, because look at this right here. We have a gap to fill to the upside all the way at $30. Right? So if we go here, we have a gap to fill all the way to $30. And the gap fill starts at $22, right? So once we get above this area right here, we're going to be blasting off. And this is also like a demand zone, right? A demand zone right here. So what I'm looking at for Lyft is to blast off and to come touch $20 and eventually $30. It's gonna take some time, but yeah. And then we go look at the weekly time frame. We had a very nice weekly, you know what I'm saying, candle right here. Little bit of selling pressure, but we could come up here, $20 to test that 200 EMA, and we could reject, come down, and then go up higher, right? So that's why I say around $20 is where I would like to get out at, right? From this trade right here. If you have longer options, then that's fine to stay in. But this right here, from here to $20 on a small stock like this, that would be a great profit right there. Okay, so that's the trade. That's the trade that I just entered in, and I gave it a little bit of time. And Lyft's contracts are very cheap anyway, so I was happy with that. All right, so that's where we're at with the small account challenge for week 3. I hope that this was valuable to you. I hope that you guys got some good stuff out of this. All right, so I'm gonna be updating you guys every single Saturday. I'm gonna update y'all with the small account challenge, and we just gonna grow this account. All right, so like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head and go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right, and also remember, y'all, the more you study, the less you worry. All right, I'm gonna see you guys on tomorrow's live. All right, you guys stay smooth and have a great day. Peace.